freedom, for the waking minds. We are all human, we have a voice. We are blessed and burdened with a choice. With a choice. Don't you forget, with open arms, we are waiting. Don't you forget, with open arms, where we go on, we go on. When one rises up, we all stand tall. 'Cause where we go on, no, we go on. Together we're unstoppable. 'Cause where we go on, we go on. When one rises up, we all stand tall. 'Cause where we go on, no, we go on. Together we're unstoppable. 'Cause where we go on, we go on. Together we're unstoppable. I was in the deep water, and it was hard to see the surface. I couldn't breathe. I surrendered all of me. Then I woke up. My eyes were opened, and I saw you. We're all in this together, me and you. Stand united, fight for the truth, the truth. Is hidden from our eyes, but we're learning to see through the disguise. Through the static, we're starting to arise. Yeah, we're opening up our eyes. Research. Dead slaves, population control, resource control, financial control, media control, education control, government control, religious control, secret service, military police, courts and prisons, corporations, central banks, United Nations, Committee of 300, and Council of Foreign Relations. nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing can stop. Yeah, nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop.
Hello and good afternoon. Let me know if I'm coming through fine for you. I'm gonna do a real quick test here.
I can see people waking from their dreams. Like a bite on their neck, their body rejects the soul-snatching disease. Everything in society starts to fold. You're watching history of humanity, so you gotta be brave and be bold. Nothing can stop. Nothing can stop. Nothing can stop. Nothing can stop. Yeah, nothing can stop what's coming. Nothing can stop.
Turn it back up. Let me know when it sounds good. I'm hitting the yellow, so I don't want to really exceed that. Wonderful. It looks like everything's going good. Today, it's kind of a dry run for yesterday's news today, which is a brief run through of news that people don't want to cover in the mainstream media. Thank you for the heads up, Ninja. So we're just gonna kind of breeze through this real quick, kind of check out what we've got planned for this. So I'm gonna start recording and then we can begin the show. Thank you for everyone who showed up. I know the music's still playing on this screen. I just didn't think it was a big deal. This is just a little intro screen for us to talk.
Nothing can stop.
So there we go. Let's get into this. I'm gonna mute the music and we'll start the show. And we are recording. Wonderful. Thank you everyone. Today is 8/31/2020 and today we are going to bring you yesterday's news today. So let's hop over to here. Thank you everyone for showing up. Yesterday's news today. We're going to go over just a little bit of ABCU's Twitter feed, which mainly encompasses DOJ, FBI, things like that. So we're going to pull that up real quick for you. Let's go over to some screen shares so you can see what we're talking about. Alright, wonderful. So as you can see here, we're going to just pop over here to the tweeters accounts. We're going to go straight into my list because I mainly use the business account via the list. So if we go over to lists, we're going to start with DOD leaders. This is real news from real people in charge, not the mainstream media's narrative they're feeding you daily and trying to force down your throat. So this is real news. To date, we've distributed, let's really get in there for you so you all could see. We're taking care of Hurricane Laura, and I don't hear it at all on the news. This is real news from the National Guard going out to Louisiana to help protect and defend the Americans, but the media is too busy covering other stories, that are of no importance and trying to divide and make hate rather than unifying the United States. And then here's another big announcement that they're skipping over if you want to look. The Department of Defense announces Dr. Victoria Coleman as the new director of DARPA. This is huge news. We're not going to hear about it at all on the mainstream media, but this is huge. We have a new director of our Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which is a very important part of our military branch, and the news just glosses over it because it doesn't fit the narrative of hate and hype. I'm going to give you a little zoom in here so maybe you could read it. We're going into a whole new stage of war, if you'd like to think about that, with the new Space Force, the new branches of the military, the new weapons, the new missile technologies, and things like that are not coming through, it's... Okay. It's really going to change the dynamics of war and what DARPA's involved in. This is huge news. This lady is clearly, I'm assuming it's a lady, Victoria. She's clearly a 30-year academic, and she worked in the private sector. She seems very qualified. I don't see many ties to big tech other than Yahoo, some HP. I don't think they're too bad of a company. So it doesn't seem like she's a deep state or just on surface level observation. And that's a really good thing. Another reason why it's probably not getting any hype. If you want to read this, I'll put all the links in the description after the show. That way you could review it and get back to it. But then let's pop back over here to this Twitter feed. This is where the real news is, though. There's plenty of real news that just gets ignored. Department of Defense going to help Louisiana after the floods, where's all the coverage on this? I don't see it on my news. This is national news. So Oh yeah, James, you're 100% correct. They're way ahead on the technology that DARPA gets to look at and talk about than the technology we're currently using. But then there's this private sector like SpaceX who's working with them to push that envelope further, get the private sector into the same field of play as this state level abilities. So we're really hoping that, us covering some other stories will help the mainstream media realize this is what people care about. So if we're going to pop over here to the FBI Twitter account, there's just endless crimes, endless rewards for crimes that are being pushed through this. They have all your local chapters, Kansas, Colorado. This is one big thing I wanted to touch on that during this episode of Yesterday's News Today is the FBI. If you see here, it says FBI Gov, investigate counterintelligence, foreign influence, protected voices. This is the article that goes into how to protect your campaign, but I recommend everyone take the time. I think the total, if you were to watch all these videos that are provided directly from the FBI. So we're just going to real quick watch the intro video. I'm going to mute myself and let the desktop audio come through, and you could listen to Christopher Wray explain what this program they put together is about. It's about protecting your business, but they do it in a way that they're specifically talking about campaign safety for the RNC, DNC. It seems like the DNC really needs this information. So, like I said, I'm gonna try to play this for you. Let's pop it open in YouTube.
I'm Chris Wray, Director of the FBI. America's elections are the foundation of our democracy, so protecting them is a priority for the FBI and our partners. Unfortunately, we face today a very real threat from foes who seek to undermine our elections through online foreign influence operations. That's why the FBI has launched our Protected Voices initiative, working with our partners at the Department of Homeland Security and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. Protected Voices aims to help political campaigns, private companies, and individuals protect themselves from foreign actors who want to hijack their message. We've created these Protected Voices videos to showcase the methods these adversaries might use and to help campaigns practice good cyber hygiene, because the foundation of election security is cybersecurity. We hope that campaign managers, staff, and IT directors will watch these videos and incorporate our guidance wherever possible. We also urge you to use these videos as part of your onboarding process for campaign staffers and volunteers. Most of all, we encourage you to share these videos beyond your campaigns. All American voices are important, and the FBI's Protected Voices videos and resources will help all Americans protect themselves online. Remember, you are the first line of defense against foreign influence operations. By protecting your systems, you're protecting your voice and protecting our country. Finally, please don't hesitate to reach out to your local FBI office with any questions or concerns. Your voice matters, so protect it.
So, if I was a DNC staffer, I'd tell you about how this is all about Russia. Russia, 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 Russia. Everything's about Russia, you know? But I don't think that's who we need to worry about for the interference in our election. They've already said that China's working on fake ballots. They've already said that other people are working on ways to subvert the election. You know, there've been whistleblowers to speak out about mail-in fraud and mail-in voting fraud. So, you know, there's lots of actors in this, and not all of them are foreign, and not all of them are domestic. And foreign interference in an election isn't a new phenomenon. It's not something that just started happening in 2016. America influences elections elsewhere. I'm not going to go into detail, but you could find information about us Americans influencing elections in South America, in Asia, in the Middle East. You could find it documented on the, I believe, NATO website that states that we interfered by helping the Afghanis to be able to vote, to secure the election sites. If that's not election interference, having an American military protect your elections, it sounds like interference to me. And so it's nothing new. It's nothing that we don't know about. It's just a matter of whether we acknowledge that it's always happened, in that here in the digital age, we need to take and implement best practices for it. So, you know, like a lot of people say, it's on us. And it is on us. Like, if you can, go volunteer to collect ballots as a pollster, or whatever the proper word for it is. You know, like, there are ways to help. And by getting involved in opening your eyes and seeing what's happening around you is the easiest way to get involved and speak up when you see something that's wrong, you know? So you have to really speak to the the facts of the matter rather than the narratives of the matter. We'll go into this later. I'm going to do another episode later regarding what's it called? Exposing fake news. This is yesterday's news today. You know, I'm just bringing you things they're not going to cover. Broken Arrow woman, which is somewhere in Oklahoma, sentenced to wire fraud for following false tax return. Why don't we hear about this? You know, that's a huge. You want to know why we don't hear about it? Because it doesn't bleed. If it doesn't bleed, it doesn't lead. They just want to play the emotion strings, you know, rather than. Thank you, Blue Eyes. They don't want to really give you the news because there's so much news every day. It's overwhelming. Like, you really can't keep up. We're in such a connected day and age that, you know, like, if we didn't have the internet, I wouldn't know about this Oklahoma City information until days later. You know, I'm in Colorado. So, because we're so connected, they pick and choose what'll pull on your heartstrings the most rather than what's most important to you. You know, this is just in the last hour, everything we're looking right here. All these FBI tweets and U.S. Attorney Generals, you know, like, this is the real news that they don't want you to see. It's out there. You know, some of it may be stupid, just like this. This article, let me point. This article. You know, like, this is still news, though. This is a piece of art that was stolen and now is probably hanging in someone's house. If you see it, you know who has it, call the FBI. You know, it may not be a big thing, but this is what they should be telling us. If that's your community, you would care. And by giving us a lack of community and a overwhelming amount of news that is all full of fear and doubt and uncertainty rather than, you know, that's why this program is called Yesterday's News Today. I'm not here to break any news for you. I'm here to just kind of point out the things that the mainstream media will not tell you, because they're not going to tell you about this, how to protect yourself, your company via cybersecurity measures. So if they're not going to tell you, and they're who we count on as Americans to provide us our news and updates and the information that matters, like man charged with murder of his own daughter. You know, if I was in this community, I would care. I'm not in Oklahoma. So I'm not near as affected, but this is still breaking news. It probably wasn't violent enough to make headlines. It probably wasn't emotional enough to make headlines. So they pick and choose who the winners are rather than giving you real narratives that are factual. They concoct these. So, you know, I could go on endlessly, tell you about all of this, but I recommend everyone go to one of their local FBIs. I'm going to show you how to do it. And then click here and view list. You know, they will all be part of this list. And this is all of the U.S. attorneys, you know. Go to your local chapters, see what kind of lists they have set up. That way you could understand your locality, get real news for your local area. You know, we're going to go back to my collection of lists so you could see them. You know, we got, this is military command, all news anchors from Fox, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, BBC News list. You know, you have to follow the fake news as well, sadly. But this is where the real news is. It's not with all these fake news people, although I do like The Hill. So we're just going to check out the Army, and then we're probably going to end this one and go to a more live version. The first half hour of each of these shows will be dedicated strictly to a show format. I know today is a little bit clustery, not as organized, but I had some stuff come up over the weekend that prevented me from doing the work I had to get this ready. But people need the content, and we're a new channel, so we're just going to put some content out there for you and try to keep you guys pleased. Yeah, you are right, James. We'll go into that in a minute. As soon as we get to the off-air section, I'm going to stop the record and then restart it, and we'll do some off-air content, just kind of some back and forth with you guys in chat, find out how you're feeling, what you're thinking, based on the show format. But real quick, let's see if I could pull it up, if I have it. Yeah, we're just going to switch over to this. It's going to be some live chat. Yeah. Well, it's just us. We're just gonna hang out for a little bit. I'm gonna just kind of talk to you guys for a minute. I'm gonna end the recording and then restart a new one. Stop recording. Thank you, everyone who came. We're gonna restart it. Awesome, wonderful. So I just want to know how you guys feel. What's going on? What do you think about this show? That's kind of the format it'll be. It'll be way more organized typically. We are just, like I said, I wasn't doing too good over the weekend, so I had to postpone what I wanted to do to focus on what I had to do. That's how life goes. But yeah. Yeah, on James's comment up here where it says sometimes the stupid tweets by the intel agencies contain coded messages to each other. I will confirm that some things, I wouldn't even say that they're coded messages. They're covert communications. Like it's not even like they're trying to hide it from people. It's just a way to kind of allow people the people who are in the know to know while not being thank you, Blue Eyes, while not being too in your face, because the line of communications and how you understand what and how the communications happen. Like a prime example is when Trump let go of the guy for writing an open letter on something that he could have handled via phone call. Because there are right ways and wrong ways to address issues, not only in your public life, but your private life and your work life, and the way that person handled that issue was making a big deal out of something rather than thank you. That's someone on our message boards who works really hard to create some content for us. There's some other content like I said, I didn't get a chance to set it up. I have a couple more promo videos and things like that that I need to show off and get in there. Oh, you're buffering? Let's see what my stats say. It says I have a couple frames dropping due to my network. Hello? so it's not me. Anyone else having buffering issues while watching? My stats say, this is just a template screen. Sorry, I got a phone call. I had to cover my screen. Don't want y'all knowing who I'm talking to. Top secret calls over here, you know. Yeah, it seems like we did drop a few frames during the live portion of it. The gamer music, you're saying? So no buffering in Hawaii, a little bit of buffering in Alaska. I'm going to chop that up to Alaska problem. Sorry, Blue Eyes. 5-5 over there in the PDX airport. Yeah. This is just a template screen. Sorry, I'll switch back. I gotta mess with the transitions so I don't keep showing you that same clip. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've been wondering, you know, I couldn't get a hold of Putin. I thought he changed his number and I was never going to get my Russian gold. But thank you, James, for reaching out to the Poop Meister. Yeah. The Russian gold is clutch, you know. If we could all just maintain our Russian gold numbers up really high, that'd be really good. You know, we're all trying to get that Russian gold. Let's turn this bad boy on. Oh. You can't see it. 8 top slash ABCU is what it should say. My text is too big. Yes, we are all bots. All of us, even me. This bot got a haircut. Made it extra Russian style for everyone. Forgot my tracksuit today though. Yeah. But I don't know, I just wanted to kind of get live, start putting out content, that way people could enjoy it. You know, today was pretty unplanned. Like I said, I'm going to try to work on a little bit better format for it. A couple of my screens were messed up here. What Viking image? Ermina? Oh, the sword maybe in that clip. God bless America. Wait, that's the wrong screen, bro. Yeah. And then I'm going to end this and I'll come back live here in probably about an hour. I'm going to go eat lunch in a little bit and then I have a second show format which is exposing fake news. I'm going to give you a preview on what we're going to go into. You know, we're going to kind of talk about this subject and about how it is a false narrative. You know, I'm not even going to say the word they wrote here because that'll be the end of us. No longer Russian bots. Speak for yourself. I'm still a Russian bot. I relocated to Russia, Ukraine, or Crimea as I call it. But yeah, we're gonna do another live session later. That way I could cover this and the falsehoods of the mainstream media based on what they're portraying versus what the Q actually said. Because if we look up here and we type in Semite, Nowhere does he talk about anti-Semitism or Semites in any way. And then, if you search Jew, most of the Jews are in these hashtags with these links that have, I have a banner below. I don't know what banner I have below. You talking about the chat area over here? Yeah, but here, Control F, the word Jew. Let's see how many times Q has said the word Jew. Oh, look, someone else's name. Oh, look, in a link from someone else. Oh, in a link from someone else. 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 Oh, look, he tells you to look at one single Jew. He doesn't even call him a Zionist or anything. He just says, look at this Jew. And if that's bad, to recognize that someone is of something, don't blame me for being observant. I'm not racist because I'm observant, and I can see that you're a Jew, and you're black, and you're white, and you're Asian. It doesn't make me racist. It makes me observant. And not enough people really understand that, the narratives being pushed are lies. There's nothing about, give me another keyword that's anti-Semitic in some way. I've looked through all the Q posts. I've read all the Q posts multiple times. He doesn't say there's kids and dumbs. He doesn't say to be anti-Semitic and everything's the Jew fault. He doesn't say things like that. So that's kind of what I'm going to dive into on our next episode of Exposing Fake News, which is a different setup, so I'd have to end the stream and restart to do it. But since it's just us here talking, most of the people in here are just our friends. I want to give you a preview and kind of talk about it a little. That way we could have an understanding about what is the narrative and what is the fact. Because I can't find anywhere where he, the Q, asks anyone to hate Jews at all. The only questionable one would be this right here, 526Q. I'll zoom in for you so you could read it. It tells you to look at a specific person. And this is something we at ABCU are a big, big supporter of. That guns don't kill people, people kill people. You can't take a gun to trial, but you can take a person to trial. So, same thing with a religion, a group. You can't take Black Lives Matter to jail, but you can take that person who shot a Trump supporter to jail because they support Black Lives Matter. You need to hold people accountable. And this is a way of holding specific people from a specific person's family accountable. It doesn't say all Jews are bad. It doesn't say Zionism is the death of America. He pulls directly from a Wikipedia article about this person and asks you to look into it for yourself. That maybe there's some shisty stuff happening. I said that for all my misers out there. So, there's just so much misinformation in regards to Q and the questions about Q. Not once did he tell you to be anti-Semitic. And then on to the child point. If we were to go through here, if I type in child, it'll encompass children and all the other spellings of child, children, Not once will he say they're all stuck in dumbs underground. And if you believe that there's children's in dumbs, I'm not going to argue with you. I believe there probably are too. But not all the dumbs are filled with children. You know, so as we go through here, I don't see all the dumbs. You know, he does bring this up a lot, that the children of light and dark, and that is a metaphor. And if people don't understand that, try reading, try understanding literature, try educating yourself on what is cryptic versus what is metaphorical versus what is a direct line of communication and what is disinformation. You know, like, you need to understand that everything portrayed in these Q drops is either part of a narrative or part of a fact. And the narrative and the fact have slowly gotten closer and closer together as this Q saga, or whatever you would like to call it, has been unfolding. So, a lot of the things that they say are bad about the Q movement are falsehoods, you know, and then they say certain individuals who are associated with the Q movement are doing certain things that are negative or hurting people. And as far as I know, every time I go to the research board, wrong browser. Let's just see. I'm pretty sure at the top of this board it says we do not condone violence. This is the main place to get factual Q information, and not from media, outside sources. So if we look here and we go to the first thread that's active right here, this one, QAnon research, you know, we're not even going to go very far into it. Do you see this though? We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas, and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work. That is a message directly for and from all QAnons, as they like to call us. We are Anons, by the way. We aren't QAnons. That's something that has been branded to give us that name, you know, and if normies, or whatever you want to call them, want to call us QAnons, fine. The real thing that matters is that you understand the message that's being told via these Q drops and via the story being told. Like I've told many, many, many people, you need to read the Q drops like they're a book. Start at number 1, end at the end. And then once you've read it like a book, don't read it like a Q drop. Read it as if it's one story being told, and you'll get an understanding of what the entire message is, rather than picking and choosing certain drops. Because a lot of people have their favorite drop, or the one they like, you know, or the one that they identify with, and think of it as a work of art as a whole, rather than each drop is its own specific thing. And if you're capable of doing this, and thinking of it as literature or some type of novel, it'll give you a better understanding of what's actually happening in the drops and what the overall message is that's being portrayed. And, you know, I'm not here to be the guy who tells you what's right and wrong about Q. I just want to give you the facts and let you look. If you have any questions about how to get facts, where to look, what tools to use, feel free to reach out. I'm at BabyFist on Twitter. My DMs are open. If you want to send me hate, if you want to send me love, if you want to send me info, I'll listen to it all. I'm not I'm not worried about people being mad about the truth. Because if you're mad about the truth, it sounds like a personal issue, not any other type of issue. So this is something that we need to work on as a movement is we say we're factual, we say we're research based, and then we have people within our movement claiming that we're going to go rescue all these children from dumbs. And like, there are children underground who have terrible lives, who were raised to be in those positions, but it's not as rampant as the media makes us think it is. And, you know, to go back to this Q, how many times does he say Satan? Satan. You know, so let's Control F, say Satan. You know, so this will encompass Satan, satanic, and any of the words that would involve Satan. You know, this covers. And not once, this is Q quoting someone else from the Holy Trinity Sunday from a letter to Trump. So this isn't even Q saying Satan. This is Satan and a link. The one time he mentions Satan as something, he's directly talking about someone who left the White House. Who was it? You'll have to look for yourself to who he's calling Satan. Check the answers if you're using qmap.pub. They're not always right. They're submitted by anons. But use your own due diligence and ability to comprehend what's going on, you know? And then, like, does Satan exist? He's not telling you that all these people are Satan. Does the thought of Satan exist? Who worships Satan? And then there's, like, a lot of confusion about, like, these atheistic satanic religions. Like, Satanism is atheistic, which means they don't believe in Satan as a deity. And a lot of people confuse the Church of Satan with Luciferianism, which Luciferianism thinks that Satan is a deity, a god, while Satanists think that there is no gods, that it's an atheistic religion. So people's lack of understanding of words in others' cultures, such as Satanism, is part of the issue, you know? Like, he's not calling any of these people Satan. He asks you who worships Satan. The answer is Luciferians and other satanic religions that aren't the Church of Satan. The Church of Satan is an atheistic religion. So get the Church of Satan out of your mind. It's Luciferianism. It's the Temple of Set. It's, you know, all these other esoteric-based, deity-based religions. And, like, a lot of people don't like to hear this and be like, oh, man, you're supporting Satanists. Yeah, I am. I support everyone's ability to practice whatever religion they want. It's in our Constitution. It's in our Bill of Rights. It's number one. I don't care what God you pray to. Pray to whatever you want. Pray to Spaghetti Monster. Pray to Satan. Pray to no one. But what you do, what your actions are, how you present yourself is what matters. And if you find solace in saying Satan's your God, good luck, man. You know, like, I'm not super into a particular religion, but I've studied many religions to try to understand why one thinks they're better than the other, you know? And it just confuses me how, you know, when they talk about QAnon, you know, let's just go straight to the Wikipedia. The first thing is it's a far-right conspiracy theory. It's not. I'm not on the right. I'm a unaffiliated voter. I don't vote right-left. I don't see right-left. I see deeds, actions, thought. You know, like, what you do matters more than what you say you are. And then they continue to lie, that's saying they're alleging that a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles runs the global child sex trafficking ring and is plotting against Donald Trump. That's about the only thing they got right in that first sentence, is that there's a deep state plotting against Donald Trump. That is factual to the Q narrative. That there really is they call it a cabal, but if we go back over here to the Q, C-A-B-A-L, cabal, you notice there's 0 posts that mention cabal. So I don't think Q thinks there's a cabal. I think people have attributed the group of nefarious individuals as a cabal, and it's become mainstream narrative rather than factual. So let's just go back to this Wikipedia article. That's false. So here on Wikipedia, it is false. And you know, like, I don't know how often you Wikipedia, but if you look at this and you see all the edits, you know, these certain people are the people responsible. I'm not going to call individuals out here, but these people are the ones responsible for making this into what it is. Like, far-right conspiracy? No, it's just not. Like, I'm not on the right, so I don't identify with far-right. So the fact that they open this up with lie followed by lie, it's not a conspiracy theory that there are nefarious actors within our government, within our localities, within our communities that are acting in not the best interests of the American people. So it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, Nadler said Antifa was a conspiracy theory a couple weeks ago. What? Antifa's real. They're an organization. So people attribute the words conspiracy theory to things they don't like. So keep that in mind. Conspiracy theories made up words to discredit people who try to combat the current narratives, you know. And then it says, the theory began in 2017 post on an anonymous message board, image board, 4chan, by Q. Let's just go to Q post number 1. Well, give it to me this way. Hillary, I know she's in that first one, so. Gosh darn it. It'll be easier on qmat.pub. Okay. Search number 1. Okay. So if we go to number 1 post here, it says, Hillary will be arrested between these times. HRC extradition is already in motion. And you'll notice here, in this first post, I don't see anything about Q. So their second sentence is a lie on the Wikipedia. He doesn't say he's a Q clearance patriot until, I think, post 20 or later. Q clearance. You're not gonna find anything with that slash. Let's go to the last page. You see what I mean though? Like, Q didn't sign Q until post number 64. That's the first time he posts Q. So on November 2nd, between October and November, it wasn't an entity known as Q, as they say here. The theory began on October 17, posted in an anonymous message board, 4chan, by Q, who was presumably an American individual, but probably a group of people. Q claimed to have access to classified info involving the Trump admin and its opponents in the United States. NBC found that that 3 people took the original Q post and expanded across multiple media platforms to build internet followings and profit. So, who are these 3 individuals that they don't name, that they try to blame this Q movement on, while lying in the whole first paragraph of a Wikipedia article? I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll see you guys in an hour or two. I appreciate everyone who showed up. Love you. Until next time, until I see you again, in a couple hours, I'll be doing a what time is it? Yeah, about 2:30 my time, which is an hour and a half, a little less. I'll be going live again and talking about the stuff we just kind of covered right here, a little more in depth. I have a couple articles I want to cover that make more false claims about the Q, and it's sad, really. It's effing sad. Thank you, Ninja. Thank you, everyone else who showed up. I'm going to wrap it up. Let's give you one more yesterday's news today, and then we will kill it. With yours truly, George Orwell. Till next time, guys. This has been yesterday's news today, tomorrow's news soon. Until then, my friends, stay awake. I'll see you in a couple hours. Thank you, everyone who came by. Much love.